Hey everyone, it's Brooke, and I just finished Module 3 at Flatiron, which is JavaScript. And so for this module, I took a different approach. Module 2 for Rails, I did really well. I almost got a perfect score on the test. And so I was feeling really confident at that point, and my boyfriend and I talked and basically said, I think you can have a little bit more of a life. You can incorporate a little more fun into your life and not make it 100% studying. Because we both were like, I feel like it's not as challenging and for you at this point. You're kind of getting in a groove. You're understanding things. Because I did so well in the Rails Module 2, that's where we were at. So week 1 of JavaScript went well. The pre-work prepares you fairly well for JavaScript. There was a good amount of it if you did all the pre-work, but it wasn't required. So I did all the JavaScript pre-work, I did all the prep work in JavaScript and felt okay about it. But after you've been working in Ruby for 6 weeks, which I was, it was a bit harder to switch into JavaScript and do something new. And so that was a little bit of a learning curve. My brain would get confused over like syntax. But overall, I feel like it was going well. And so, week 1, you're learning the new subject. Week 2 is the test. The test was on Tuesday. On Friday night, my sister came in town, so I spent time with family on Friday night and all day Saturday. On Sunday, had some personal issues come up, kind of got in a disagreement with a friend, which was really emotionally tiring and distracting. So then I didn't really study as hard as I usually do on Sunday. So that kind of left me with just Monday to do all the studying. And Tuesday went into the test, was not prepared. If you don't pass the first test, you get a retest on Friday. So I spent the rest of the week studying for the retest. Friday, I felt super confident. I went into the test really excited to take it, and then didn't read the directions as carefully because I was so excited. And so I basically started down one path, coding, and then like 35 minutes in, my teacher was like, "Hey Brooke, read the directions again." And I did, and realized I did the wrong thing. So I was trying to undo that mistake and basically almost completed the test, but didn't. And so walking out of the test, I was kind of like, it could go either way. She could say, "You were close, I'll pass you." But we met, because they always review your test with you after. And she said, "You're not quite where I want you, so I'm going to have you do a solo project." And the solo project is a way for them to see that you've learned what you're supposed to. So at this point, the second week, I didn't take in any new information because I just focused on the retest. And I talked to her about that, and it's like, as a teacher, she's kind of stuck in a bind because, you want to see if someone can learn all that first week material by Friday for the retest. But when you have them take the retest, they lose out on the new week 2 material. So I was at a bit of a disadvantage at this point, learning-wise. I'm about a week behind. The solo project comes up. I was really excited to actually do it. I saw it as a great opportunity. At first, I kind of, it takes me a while to adjust. You have expectations of how things will go. So originally, I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this, or like, I feel like I'm being punished. Then I was like, okay, this is really cool. I'm creating something that I fully own, something I really like, and I don't need to ask anyone's permission. I came in on the weekend. I got some work done. That made my I came in on the weekend, got some work done that made my project a little bit ahead. So I came out kind of ahead in the beginning of the week. I had a talk with my teacher at one point where I said, I feel like I'm really alone. I feel like I'm not very supported. And, it's just not really a good feeling. And then she basically said, this is an assessment. It's to see how you're doing. So that's kind of why you're feeling that way. But she was like, you can always ask me questions. I can always help you. And so after our conversation, I feel like we were on the same page. And then she did kind of say, I feel like you're a bit behind, which at this point I basically am, And I was like, I think I can make it up. I think I can catch up. That was my mentality at that point. But it did kind of stick in my head that she said that, because hindsight, I see where the gap was. But at that point, I didn't feel like there really was a gap, because I felt like the test, I was really close to passing it. So I'm working on my project, and then I find out when you present, they have you do a live coding challenge, basically. So they'll have you either add a feature to your project or they'll have you change something. And you're presenting in front of 2 teachers. So it's a bit nerve-wracking. You're the only one in the room. And I went into it very at peace. I was like, look, if I don't pass this, I get moved back 6 weeks. And originally, I was really concerned with that. I felt like a failure. I felt like all these feelings coming up. But I've realized it's going to be a really great opportunity for me to get to review JavaScript again. And I requested that I move forward with my cohort to Module 4, which is React. So I'll at least get a preview of it, kind of see what the difficult parts are, and then I'll, do JavaScript again and then do React again. Because our cohorts are 6 weeks apart, so what's going to happen is I'm going to join the cohort that's 6 weeks behind me and kind of, go backwards to where they're at to relearn that stuff. So I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be great. I think I'm going to become a JavaScript master, which is really important career-wise because JavaScript is a really big language right now. It's really popular. So being good at that is very important, and sometimes you need to set aside your pride and do what is best for you in the long term. So I'm actually really excited for the opportunity. I'm going to get back into working out. I don't have a set schedule as much as before, but I'm going to keep coming in and keeping my discipline. And I think I learned I can't let up even when it feels like I'm learning things. I need to just keep sacrificing, keep going, keep learning. But Flatiron will never leave you behind, which I think is very valuable. And that meant a lot to me when I was applying for schools, that they wouldn't just kick you out of the boot camp if you're not where you're supposed to be. They'll just most likely have you join the cohort behind you. And then you'll kind of get some review and you get supported the whole way through. And then you get to be really great at something. So I'm excited to report back. I'm still going to do a Module 4 video next week, but then I'm also probably going to do a Module 3 Part 2, letting you guys know how JavaScript goes the second time around. Okay, so thanks guys. I'll keep you in the loop and have a great week.